So the MAGA Republican operative who gave Donald Trump that hug at Chick-fil-A in Atlanta, Georgia, so the media can say, oh, take a look. This is proving that Donald Trump has the support of African-American women because he's in a Chick-fil-A. Well, yes, Michaela Montgomery is now posting photos of herself in Freeport, Bahamas, as the Patriot Takes account said. Must be nice. There's a broader discussion I want to have here about Donald Trump's propaganda and the media's complicity in it, but just take a look at what Patriot Takes posted. It says, the MAGA operative who hugged Trump at an Atlanta Chick-fil-A went on a slew of interviews, spoke at billionaire Kelly Loeffler's event, and then took a vacation to the Bahamas. Must be nice. Or in other words, mission accomplished. And the media bought that fake hug, hook, line, and sinker, and they had Michaela Montgomery go on all of the shows. And as we reported here on the MeidasTouch Network in an exclusive, Trump's viral hug at Chick-fil-A was with a MAGA operative. Michaela Montgomery is a political consultant and former GOP intern. She also worked for Charlie Kirk, who wants to cancel MLK Day and also who says that African Americans should not be pilots. And the media, though, went along with the narrative that somehow Trump stopping at a Chick-fil-A when he was really in Buckhead in Georgia to raise money from billionaires shows, fuels this narrative that there's some demographic shifts going on. No, what it shows is that the media is becoming, or is, just complicit puppets in this right-wing propaganda. Let me show you, before going through all of the other examples right here of the media being complicit in this. And you know we've called this out every step of the way here in the MeidasTouch Network. But let me just share this with you first before showing the Trump photo ops, because I think you'll see that this is exactly out of the dictator's playbook. And I know I've said that before. So first, let me show you Gaddafi in Libya. Let's play this clip. Next, let me show you Saddam Hussein in Iraq setting up these types of propaganda pieces. Play the clip. Here is Kim Jong-un in North Korea setting the same stuff up. Play this clip. So when Donald Trump goes to the Chick-fil-A, or when he says he's going to the bodega, or when he says he's with union workers, but he's really in a non-union shop and he's actually handing people who are not union workers signs that say union workers, or when Trump was recently, he claimed that he was hanging out with workers in Manhattan, and there was someone with a hat that said workers, American worker, and it turns out that it was actually Vish Burra, George Santos's ex-director of operations, and another MAGA operative. Or when Trump goes to the bodega, but it's actually the New York Young Republicans. I mean, this is the stuff right out of, you remember that Sacha Baron Cohen movie, The Dictator, which like basically mocked what was happening in foreign authoritarian countries. And America was a beacon of democracy. The whole point of The Dictator with Sacha Baron Cohen and movies like that, remember the South Park movie? We used to mock Kim Jong-un and Saddam Hussein and Baghdad Bob and the propaganda machines that are in like North Korea. But that's here right now. That's happening, and the media buys it hook, line, and sinker. Here from this weekend, this is Lara Trump, and Lara Trump says, look, we don't manufacture anything. Trump visits the bodega, not manufactured. He visits a Chick-fil-A, not manufactured. Everything they say is just quite literally a lie. Here she is.
That's what they do at Trump rallies, except at Trump rallies, Sean, it's authentic. We don't manufacture anything like this. When Donald Trump visits a bodega in Harlem, that's not manufactured either. Whenever he visits a Chick-fil-A in Atlanta, not manufactured.
And here's Eric Trump when he went on the weekend shows, and Eric Trump says, it's Trump's got this stamina and he's so strong. I've never seen anything like it in my life. When I show this to you, think about, the images that they have in Russia of like Putin on the horse. So, this stuff, it's, again, so bizarre to see this in the United States of America. Trump is literally like falling asleep in court. He can't stay awake. He's as weak looking as you can be. He's sitting there like quite literally like passing gas while he's in the court, whining about how cold he is. And then you have the media just platform this stuff and go, oh, he's got all this stamina. He goes to the bodega, goes to this. He's just doing propaganda events. Here, play this clip of Eric Trump.
Right, he's going all over the place, and his stamina, Maria, I've never seen anything like it in my life. I've just never seen it. He'll be in trial all day long, relentlessly being attacked by a corrupt judge, whose literally family is apparently profiting off of this whole thing, only to step out and go do events at bodegas and wake up and speak to union workers and go to Michigan and go to Pennsylvania and go to Ohio and go to all the other swing states. The guy is really a remarkable human being, and I love him to death, and I'm proud of him. And I think the whole world knows his backbone and his toughness, and it's exactly who we need behind the Resolute desk in Washington, D.C. It's the exact person we need in the Oval Office.
So it was just shocking to me that like the MeidasTouch network is the only media network out there that's actually calling this stuff out, right? We exposed the Chick-fil-A propaganda with Miguel Montgomery. Then when Donald Trump said he was going to the bodega, we showed the photos that it was actually the New York Young Republicans in Harlem who were embedded in the crowd, leading the chants. We exposed how when Donald Trump was in Michigan, he went to a non-union shop, pretended it was a union shop, paid a non-union shop $20,000. Then, of course, Donald Trump went back to Michigan, claimed that he spoke with the family of Ruby Garcia. Ruby Garcia got murdered, and Donald Trump wanted to turn this into like a xenophobic rant. And Ruby Garcia's family is like, what are you doing? Like, we've never met with you. Why are you lying and saying you met with us? Donald Trump recently when he was in Manhattan, he said he was hanging out with workers before the court. And we showed you all of these various MAGA operatives who were in the crowd. And just quite literally, you take a look at like Vish Burra embedded in the crowd right here, and you take a look at this and you compare it to the photograph right here of like, again, like Saddam Hussein. Like, this is the imagery and iconography of the authoritarian that Trump is using and that the media pushes out there. Here was what Politico said, smiling his ass off, how Trump used his New York bodega visit to return to form. You set up like a Saddam Hussein propaganda style thing. Like, what do you, to return to form? He sets up fake union rallies with non-union workers to try to pretend that he has union support. On the other hand, you have President Biden post things like this. When I signed the Butch-Lewis Act, the most significant law for union retirement security in 50 years, I protected the hard-earned pension of record numbers of union workers and retirees, including thousands from the IBEW, the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers. And you actually have action there. But what the media does when they both sides these things, or worse than both sides, they attack President Biden for not giving the access, they claim, because President Biden's actually doing authentically the work. But on the other hand, Donald Trump grants them access to his propaganda shots, but the media thinks, well, that gets them the clicks for that night. So they reward that. That's what's happening. And what we have to do is be educated to this hustle, which is why I start with the fact that you have the lady at Chick-fil-A now basically partying and almost rubbing all of this in all of our faces. You know, mission accomplished, job well done. I'll show you this from Colin Jost, from the White House Correspondent Dinner, and he asks this question. He goes, how is it that a Republican candidate for president who's found liable for fraud, make hush money payments to porn stars, like, how is it that it's tied? And the answer is, it's one, I don't actually, I think President Biden's ahead, but I don't want to get complacent. But it's this deluge of Saddam Hussein, Gaddafi, Kim Jong-un, Vladimir Putin style propaganda, which is why I wanted to share it with you so you see those images, because that's like a holy crap moment when I looked at it. I'm like, that's exactly what Trump is doing here. Here's Jost. Play the clip.
There is an election. There's an election 6 extremely long months from now. So let me see if I can summarize where this race stands at this moment. The Republican candidate for president owes $500 million in fines for bank fraud and is currently spending his days farting himself awake during a porn star hush money trial, and the race is tied? The race is tied. Nothing makes sense anymore. The candidate, who is a famous New York City playboy, took abortion rights away, and the guy who's trying to give you your abortion rights back is an 80-year-old Catholic. How does that make sense?
Okay, so tell me what you think in the comments below, but America's better than this. America is much better than this. I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch Network. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 3 million together.
Love this video? Make sure you stay up to date on the latest breaking news and all things Meidas by signing up to the MeidasTouch newsletter at MeidasTouch.com/newsletter.